Hello everyone, what's up? It's your girl Brandy Shanae. Today I couldn't resist. I just had to do a book review. Okay, so this book has been out for a while, but I just read it and I loved it. And there's also been a retellathon going on, which I'm not doing. I already have my list of books I'm reading this month, but I wanted to definitely review this book because it is amazing to me and I love it. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. So I'm just really excited to do this review. So I'm doing it with my son. He's going to be accompanying me with this video. And the book is Tiger Lily by Jodi, Lynn Anderson. Now, it was amazing. Like, I've loved Peter Pan. I loved Peter Pan since I was a little kid, especially with Hook with Robin Williams in it. I love that that movie. And then you got the animated version. You got a lot of versions of Peter Pan. And so with this one is nothing but it's about Tiger Lily, her background story, which usually in anime movie you see that she was always jealous of Wendy and all the other stuff, but in this book it's a little bit different. In this book it is basically told by Tinkerbell. You get a point of view from Tinkerbell looking into Tiger Lily and Peter Pan's relationship, and also when Wendy comes into the picture. And from this book, Tiger Lily is fierce. She's independent. She doesn't depend on a man. She's pretty much like a tomboy. She doesn't rely on any man, but in her village, which are the Sky Eaters, they really wanted her to depend on the men for them to feel like men. And so but first off, before I get ahead of myself, she was found by the shaman of the Sky Eaters, and the shaman's name was TikTok. And oh, spoiler alert, so this is mostly gonna be reading, saying muchly about this book mostly. And so she was found by TikTok, the shaman, and he raised her as his own child, his own daughter. And so with that, they named her Tiger Lily, and then of the crow with the feather in her hair, all that is a signature of who she is. And with that, she was fierce. She never wanted anything. She didn't depend on no man or anything like that. But then she also has a best friend named Pine Sap. Pine Sap is a great person, but he wasn't really into the hunting thing. He was mostly like more subtle, guy. He's more subtle. He wasn't like, oh, macho or whatever like that. And Pine Sap and Tiger Lily are best friends, and Pine Sap, along with his mother's relationship, doesn't go well. She feels like he's a sissy, he isn't really a man, and so on and so forth. And so with that, with Tiger Lily, I have to say that when she first met Peter Pan, she was starting to have feelings for him, but she was acting tough. And he didn't really know, he couldn't really read her emotions. She really never said how she felt about Peter or anything like that. But she kept coming back to visit him and the boys who she liked to be around, but she really said few words. She didn't seem like she had feelings or that much compassion towards him, but in her head, she really loved Peter, like really loved him. She even said it to TikTok that she loved him. But with the difficulty with her loving him, TikTok Tiger Lily was betrothed to a 50-year-old man. Oh, and that's another thing, they stopped aging, and she was betrothed to the oldest man in the village, who he stopped aging at 50 years old. And so with that, she really didn't love him. His name was Giant, and he didn't love her. He was always hitting her, all this other stuff, being violent towards her. But she took it because she felt like, you know what, this is my role. I need to just take the plunge for it, as that's my role, as I'm going to be his future wife, and that's what I'm going to be intending on for the rest of my life. I will still take care of him. I will still feed him, clothe him, bathe him, clean after him, whatever, so to speak. And Peter didn't really know this until later on, but she never professed her love towards Peter. And then, since she didn't profess her love, Peter found affection elsewhere when Wendy comes into the picture. And Tiger Lily doesn't know how to take it. She just is like, oh, for real? So you just going to go to the next one, right? Just like that quick, not even consider how I feel. And in my head, I'm thinking like, you didn't tell him how you felt. And so Tiger Lily pretty much was like, all right, since you since you just don't want to mess with me no more, I think I'm just going to side with the pirates and try to kill both of you. And so she does. She tries to drown both Peter Pan and Wendy, but then she realizes, like, I can't do this. I love him too much. And so, you all right? And so she saves them after she was trying to kill them. Peter Pan didn't know about this, but he still loved her. But the point of the matter is, Tiger Lily was a great character, like, in this book. At the end, though, Peter leaves with Wendy to go back to England. And she does marry Giant, but then he dies somehow, or being poisoned. Well, I'm not going to tell you who poisoned him, but that's what the rumor was, that somebody poisoned him, so he died. And Tiger Lily ends up marrying her best friend, Pine Sap, who eventually they have daughters. And you have Tinkerbell, who's behind the scenes, but tells this whole story of, you know, Tiger Lily, Peter Pan, and Wendy. And she eventually goes off to England for a few years, and she sees Peter's kids. And of course, she eventually sees Peter. And then at the end, and then soon she returns back to Neverland because she can't take the cold anymore in England and all the other stuff. And she turns back to Neverland. But then she also finds this letter that he was trying to write to Tiger Lily, and I wanted to read it to you because it's really precious. And it's like, oh my gosh, she really like loved her. And it said, let me see. Let's see. Okay, here it goes. Okay. It wasn't surprising that he had learned to write, but here is some of what he said. Did you know I always thought you were braver than me? Did you ever guess that that was why I was so afraid? It wasn't that I only loved some of you, but I wondered if you could ever love more than some of me. I knew I'd miss you, but the surprising thing is you never leave me. I never forget a thing. Every kind of love, it seems, is the only one. It doesn't happen twice, and I never expect that you could have a broken heart and love with it too. So much that it doesn't seem broken at all. And I know young people look at me and think my youth seems so far away, but it's all around me, and you're all around me. Tiger Lily, do you think magic exists if it can't be explained? I can explain why I loved you, and I can explain the theory of evolution that tells me why mermaids live in Neverland and nowhere else, but it still feels magic. The Lost Boys all stood at our wedding. Does it seem odd to you that they could have stood at a wedding that wasn't yours and mine? It does to me, and I'm sorry for it, and for a lot, and I also wouldn't change it. It is so quiet here, even with all the trains and the streets and the people. It's nothing like the jungle. The boys have grown. Everything has grown. Do you think you will ever grow? I hope not. I like to think that even if I change and fade away, some other people won't. I like to think that one day after I die, at least one small particle of me, of all the particles that will spread everywhere, will float all the way to Neverland and be part of a flower or something like that. Like that poet said, the one that your TikTok loved. I like to think that nothing's final and that everyone gets to be together, even when it looks like they don't. That it all works out, even when all the evidence seems to say something else. That you and I are always young in the woods, and that I'll see you sometime again, even if it's not with any kind of eyes I know of or understand. I wouldn't be surprised if that is the way things go after all, that all things end happy, even for you and TikTok and for you and me. Always your Peter. P.S. Please give my love to Tink. She's always such a funny little bug. And so he pretty much professed his love in that letter. He knew that he was going to die, but Tiger Lily was going to live on since there was no aging. And so with that was a great part of the book that I love. But there's also a book that I love when an Englander, Tiger Lily saved the Englander, and her people thought that if you touched an Englander or be around an Englander, you would get the aging disease, but that never happened. So the Englander eventually was dwelling among the tribe, and so with that, they were being consumed with his thoughts and his beliefs with God and everything like that, and they were going towards believing in God and everything, abandoning everything that they have known, especially their beliefs, their spiritual beliefs, and how they live, their way of life pretty much. And it reminded me of history pretty much, when people came from different countries to the New World, so to speak, and they met these Indians and told them that nope, this is not it. Like missionaries, for example, they told them, nope, that's not what you believe. You need to believe in God. You need to dismiss your beliefs and take in what we believe, and that is God. God is everywhere. He's omnipotent, all that. But then they realize that he's wrong about that, and for me, I'm glad that that worked out. So they pretty much kicked out the Englander and everything like that, and they went back to England. But of course, in real life, that never happened. They stayed in the New World. They consumed everything, disease, everything spread. But other than that, this book is great. I love Tiger Lily. She was an amazing person. She was never open about her feelings, but she tried to show it through her actions, if so to speak. But obviously, that was not enough for Peter. Wendy was the better choice for him, because Wendy would tell him everything. Wendy was mostly needy. She needed a man to help her pretty much, while Tiger Lily did not. And so that's what Peter needed. And so this book was amazing. Like I said, a 5 out of 5 stars. I really recommend this to anybody who hasn't read it, or if you want to reread it, you should do so. This is a really good book, and if you're a Peter Pan fan, go ahead and read this book. It is amazing. But thank you so much for my rambling on about Peter Pan and Tiger Lily. I just love this book. I had to do a review about it. But thank you so much for watching me and my son right here. Give me a comment or anything. Let me know how you felt about the book if you read it. If you haven't read it and I just spoiled it for you, you can still read it to get your own insight on it if you like. But please comment. Tell me your retellings that you're reading this month, or what you're going to be reading in the future. But thank you so much. See ya. Bye.